So, hello everyone, my name is Swarna Lakshmi and I'm a first year medical student here in UNSW. So today, I'm going to talk about extremism and war, a dying form of love. See what I did there? See what I did there? Okay, so moving on. So you may be thinking, why on earth would I be talking about such a topic? What made me think of such a topic? So, let me just give you a brief history as to why I want to talk about this topic. So 2 weeks ago I started Muay Thai kickboxing. So this trainer of mine, he specifically told me that there's no such thing as self-defense in this current age we are living, in this world. There's only offense. You constantly offend another person. Because, say for example, I'm walking out in the street at night and somebody wants to rob me. I'm not gonna hit that person and I'm not gonna tell him, you know what, you move away, you shoo away, don't come near me. It's not that, it does not work that way. What happens is that he is gonna come back and he's gonna put me down. So if I don't put him down, he's gonna put me down. So that's when I realized, and he ended up his whole theory by saying that if you don't offend, you will get offended. So that's when I thought, you know what, this is actually what is going on earth right now, as in us as a community. We are constantly offending one another. I'm constantly offending you because if I don't, you will offend me and I will lose. We constantly want to win. We constantly want to prove to the other person that we are right. So that brings me to my topic today, which is really extremism and war. So if you can see, that offense causes us to be extremists about extreme about something, and that leads to us having conflicts, and that leads to us having wars. So moving on, you may be thinking, not yet. So let's see, what are the causes of war? So maybe from your history books or something, or your teachers, they would have told you that it's crave of power, greed, ego. But I am here today to tell you that the cause of war is really love. It's just really simple, it's love. And you may be thinking, this girl is really crazy to be telling me that love, something so pure between a mother and a child, can cause war, because members of the house, that is exactly what is causing war. I'm so sorry, it's just the debating side of me, members of the house. I hope I can address you as members of the house because I'm just really accustomed to that. So let me just define what war, extremism, and love is. So extremism is the holding of extreme political or religious views, and war is a state of armed conflict between different countries or different groups in a certain country. And love, on the other hand, is a strong feeling of affection. So you may be thinking that, how is she actually connecting love, something so pure, something so powerful, to war? So let me give you a simple analogy. So I have a dog, okay, it's a mixed breed beagle. I love him very much. I think he's the best dog in the world. I think he's entitled to everything in this world. Everybody should respect my dog because my dog is Babe. My dog is the MVP, okay? So say if I'm bringing him for a walk in a park and there's this other guy who has another dog and he starts throwing stones at my dog because he thinks that my dog is really ugly and he thinks that my dog should not walk in the park because his dog is walking in the park. So what is happening there? So what happens after that is naturally I get angry. I start saying that you have no rights to hit my dog. It's my dog. Who are you to touch or discriminate my dog? So if you can see what is going on behind that is that I love my dog very much. And I feel protective towards my dog. And I think my dog deserves everything in this world. And that's basically how war happens. So let's just talk about the most historic war in the world, which is really World War II. It's between the Axis and the Allies, but what I'm just going to concentrate about is Hitler. So for example, what happened after the First World War is that Germany had to take the blame and they had to compensate the other countries that were involved in it. So what Hitler felt was he was just a messenger boy, just to let you know, when he started off. So he was angry because he thought, who are you to ask Germany to compensate for everything else? Because that compensation thing led Germany to be very fragile. So economically, they were very unstable. Financially, they were very unstable and all that. So why would he go through all the pain to bring Germany back to its glory days? Why is there the Nazis? Why did he do all that? Because of love. He loved his country so much. He loved the people in his country. He wanted to do it for his country. And that is what led to this whole Nazi movement, this whole killing and all that. So now, if you look at the next one, okay, yeah. So I'm going to bring you back to my topic for today, which is really extremism and war, a dying form of love. So the war, he was principally right. He loved his country. So that war that he raged on everyone, that was right, if you look at it from a very, from that perspective. But he caused the death of roughly 55 million to 65 million people. So is that even morally right? But okay, so now let me ask you, the total number of deaths in recorded history due to war, what do you think it is? Just roughly, do you have any numbers, anyone?
3 million.
Okay, good one, but nah. That is how many people who died due to war? Now let's look at the number. 634 million people died due to war, due to our silly needs. It's really silly to think that many people died. It's really stupid actually, but this is what love is. When you love something so much, you get so engrossed in it, this is what you cause war. So, and to what end, people? And to what end? This is constantly happening every day. We are constantly offending a lot of people around us. We're constantly hurting each other, and we are going through this whole stage of suffering, really. And to what end? So we coexist. We love each other, but we end up killing one another on a general basis of love for something. And this happens a lot. So really, is love wrong? So now I'm asking you, do you think love is wrong?
No. Yes.
Okay, now if you say, okay, love is wrong, if you say it's love is right, and then you're justifying the death of 600 million people, but if you say love is wrong, and then what is the purpose of life? So really, love is a very powerful tool. It's between a mother and a child. It's between a patriotic soldier and his country. It's between a man and a woman. Love is very powerful. It can be used in many ways. So now when I ask you, is love wrong? This brings us to the second part of my talk, which is really, once you start questioning if love was wrong, you need to question everything around you. So I've always thought that I had this philosophical side in me, so I always thought, you know, love is just so powerful, it connects us, it brings us together, but at the same time it breaks us in so many ways that we don't know. So why do we have love? Why are we even feeling things? Why are we even existing? What is the point of existing in this world? Why do we have humans? Why do we have the human race? Why do we have the entire galaxy? Why do we have the universe? What's the point of existing? Because we exist, we coexist, we hurt one another, we love each other, we go through this whole, a medium of suffering for no reason. We are, well, you may say that, oh, you know what, we are on earth, like how Anand said, you know, to have, we need to feel the pleasure and stuff like that. But I'm asking you, what's the point? Why do you want to feel all that? Why are we even here? Why were we even evolved? Why did Big Bang happen? Why are we even sitting in this lecture theatre? Why couldn't we not be here? Because if we were here, there's a probability that we won't be here. So why did this happen and why didn't the other happen? Because if the other happened, none of this would be here. 600 million people wouldn't have died. All of us would be somewhere else. I don't know what, we wouldn't be existing. The soul wouldn't be existing in the first place. So I've always had this constant idea, it's very philosophical in a way, but I've come to terms, you know, that we are humans, we are going to live this whole life of suffering, we're going to constantly hurt one another, we're going to constantly fight with each other, but yeah, that's the way you can look at it. But just to end my speech today with a bang, on a way, I just want to ask you one simple question. What is your reason for being alive? Thank you.
Here it is.
Hi guys, how are you doing? Alright? It's alright? So I got 37 slides. And can you reset time? Yeah. Sorry. So you can hear me? Can you hear me? Yep. Shaking?
Put on your blazer.
So I have 8 minutes left, sorry. So today I'm going to talk about the recessions. So it's contained 37 slides. So I'm going to talk very fast. So bear with me. Okay, so first up, my name is Amirul Amir. You can call me Sam. Many people call me Sam. Okay, so today with the topic of Great Recession, who's at fault? Well, many people, like myself, I'm like 12 at the time when Great Recession happens, right? Most probably we don't really know anything about Great Recession. Maybe we heard of something like, oh, the economy is bad. The economy is not performing well. Well, my mom says like that. Yeah, my mom is Chinese, so the economy concerns her very well. So first up, so I know what you guys are thinking. Oh my God, it's boring. Oh my God, economics, EU. That's why most of you guys choose engineering. I understand that, but I need to stress out that the Great Recession changed our life more than what Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram combined. Recession, mortgage, credit default swap. What is that? What is that? It's confusing, right? It's supposed to be. Why? Let me take a quote from my favorite movie. People at Wall Street like to use confusing terms to make you think you cannot do what they do. Or even better, just leave them alone. Why? Let's see. So now let's start our journey of global financial crisis, or the Great Recession, or the trade crisis, or the subprime crisis for dummies. Alright? Alright? Disclaimer. This is the simplified version of the Great Recession. It is very complex financial crisis, so it's not the best explanation. Try Wikipedia for the best explanation. So wait a minute, what is the Great Recession? So we got the context of what, when, and where. So what? Blah, 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 blah. What is that? So the most important thing is the economy is bad. How bad is bad? The question is, how bad is bad? So we will see later. So where's the timing? The Great Recession has been built up by decades. No one cares. No one even bother a thing. They just let it go. They just let it happen. Why? So there's a question of where. Do you can guess where did it all started? US. It's the USA. So how bad is bad? The question is how bad is bad? So unemployment, 10.9%. 50 million people. Our labor forces in Malaysia consists of 50 million people. Imagine that no one gets a job. No one is doing a job, just sitting by the houses and doing nothing. Or just claim the funds from the government. So housing investment reduced by half, 800 billion to 400 billion. I'm talking about billion. The Malaysian GDP is 300 billion only. The downside of that, you can see that. The stock market index, S&P 500. What is S&P 500? It's just stock markets, it doesn't matter. It's the prices of all the value of American shares combined that is being formed as S&P 500. Dropped by 57%. So wealth. The top wealthiest 20% control 87% of all the wealth in USA. An increase of 2%. Can you see that richer get richer and poor get poorer?
Karl Marx.
So how about Malaysia? Well, it's alright. It's alright. A shrinking of 1.9%. It's not that great. Just 1% from what? 300 billion? It's just 3 billion. Well, Why is that so? Because do you remember the 1997 financial crisis that Malaysia has suffered, or Thailand or Indonesia has suffered? And Malaysian banking has enforced some strict regulations. Malaysian government enforced some strict regulation on banking. Alright? So, what if the next great recession happens in Malaysia? Are you prepared? So, I'm gonna go very quick about that. So, here is a mortgage. So, you want to buy a house, right? You want to buy a house. So, let's say the house prices is 100,000, or in this case, it's $10. So, you only got $1. So, what do? We borrow. We borrow from banks, right? So, the banks charge you 1% interest. And then you take 10 years to pay off all your debts. So actually you pay $9.9 for the banks for that housing title, right? Understand the mortgage? So, and then banks started to feel like, why are we, the mortgage is great, but it's low yield, doesn't have a lot of return. So why won't we combine everything's mortgages that everyone is paying into one single thing called mortgage-backed security? So in reality, the mortgage-backed security is consisting of thousands of houses that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. So imagine that, how much is it cost for one MBS? Billions. So this is about the rate, about the yield. So the higher the rate, the higher the risk, the higher the yield. So I guess everyone is confused about, and then blah 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 blah, right? So bear with me just another 3 minutes. No joking. 30 maybe. This is a quote. They are like, it ain't what you don't know that gets you into trouble. It's what you know for sure that just ain't so. Just like I know for sure that tomorrow is not gonna rain, so I'm just gonna be not wearing a shirt tomorrow. So but it's raining, so I'm gonna be like a crazy guy, right? The sky isn't always blue. Question. Time, house price, no, false. True or false? Yep. Or rendang is delicious. I don't know. B. The answer is B. Everything is subjected to supply and demand. So that means that the assumption of house prices is always increasing is actually false. That is what we always assume. House prices always increase. This is why only few foresaw what is coming, the Great Recession. So, oh my God. So 2004 interest rate is low. So everyone starts to borrow, right? The interest rate indicate the cost of financing. So just like you taking a $9 loan, you need to pay off, like if it's 1%, you need to pay off 0.009 cents. Why? It is very good, right? So, oh my God, I'm talking too fast, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we're talking about subprime mortgages. Subprime mortgages is what the U.S. government is doing. That literally everyone can take out a loan and pay it. There's no need for deposit, security, or even credit check, right? So what happens when it increases? So we know that the subprime mortgages usually contains of people that doesn't have a lot of assets in there. So then, I'm talking too fast, I'm too tired. So when it increases, they are unable to pay off their debt. So in return, no one is paying their house. So this leaves them homeless. So now the bank consists of a lot of mortgage that is being defaulted. There's no one paying off their debt. And then what do the banks do when they have a lot of redundant houses? They try to sell. When they try to sell, if and the economy, let's say the economy is 4% interest rate. This is just assumption. Can I go on? I know I won't win, but actually it's I know it's important to convey this idea to you guys so that we are actually prepared for the next crisis. Can I take 3 minutes? 3 minutes. So it's like the bank trying to sell the house. The bank trying to sell the house, but the cost of financing is too high, 4%. Who's gonna want to pay? So now the house, no one wants to buy, and then when the supply of the houses is too much, this drag the prices of the house. So maybe the house cost $10 before, so it now costs $6. So why do people want to pay for a house when they obtain a loan? They obtain a $9 loans. Why do they want to pay off a house when the house value is $6? Doesn't make sense, right? So more people started to get homeless. No one is having a house. Do you remember about MBS? Yeah. So right now, MBS is actually a security that is obtained by the loan, that is created by the banks, which is to fund the mortgages obtaining by the homeowners. Do you ever really wonder how the banks get so rich, so rich? Yep, they borrow. The bank borrow from a richer bank. The richer bank borrow from the richest bank. So this go on and on and on and on. So what happens when the homeowners doesn't pay their mortgages? The investor doesn't get their money back. And I need to stress that the MBS is actually a debt security that is created by the bank. So that means that the bank also in debt. Also are in debt. So when no one has money, what happens? Everyone go bankrupt. Everyone go bankrupt. What happens to this bank? Lehman Brothers, we know what happens. Bankrupt. Bear Stearns. See? A price of $10 for their peak of 133.20 cents per share. And then Merrill Lynch, acquired by Bank of America, discount of 67%. What does this bank mean? They are the biggest investment banks in the USA. Nothing is too big to fail. So who's at fault actually? The banks, individuals who take more than what they can chew, or the government doesn't have a strict regulation on the bank? Anyone?
Everyone.
So everyone has a fault in that crisis. But actually I want to stress that what is more important than who? Because we can't change the who, but we can change the what. The system. The system has failed us time after time after time. The system is not perfect and we realize it and no one did a thing. Just as an example of all the crises, and then this is the conclusion of my speech or announcement or talk. So what do we expect in the future? The bank starting to sell a security named Bespoke Tranche Opportunity. And according to Bloomberg, it's just another name for CDOs or MBS. So brace yourself. Recession is coming.
Knowledge is power. Knowledge has allowed us to build civilizations. Knowledge has allowed us to push boundaries of sciences. Knowledge has allowed us to gain power. But what is power? We often hear that knowledge is power, but the two are not even the same. They do not mean the same thing. So clearly, they are not interchangeable. If knowledge is indeed power, why then are the people ruling above us, to put it very bluntly, idiots? To answer this question, I will pose to you all a riddle. 3 great men sit in a room: a king, a priest, and a rich man. Between them stands a common sellsword. Each great man bid the other 2 be killed. The king bellowed, "I am your king, obey me." The priest ordered, "In the name of God, do as I say." And the rich man offered, "All the riches you can imagine will be yours." Who lives and who dies? I will let all of you to think about the answer. Moving on to my speech. Authority allows people to be above everyone else. Some derive authority from their birthrights, from generations of the same bloodline ruling over certain lands. Some derive their authority from law, be it common law or theological jurisprudence. And some derive their authority from monopolizing trade of goods that we cannot live without. But is authority power? If indeed authority is power, why then that every time there are unpopular policies made by the government, always met with dissents? Why then are there many interpretations and denominations of religion, every single religion there is? Why then are we so angry every time the price of goods increases? So authority is not power. Knowledge is not power. What is then? So I've let you guys have a thought of what the answer to my riddle is. So I see some nods, okay? So every one of you have answered wrongly, but also all of you have answered correctly. It's a bit of an oxymoron, really. So let us unravel this riddle. If the sellsword was a loyal man, or if he was a devout person, or if he was just a simple, poor mercenary, the king, the priest, and the rich man would have lived respectively, one, but not the others. But here's the twist to the riddle. The sellsword is of common blood. He's not a particularly devout person. He has no gold, but he holds a sword. The sword that is the power over life and death. Then why do we pretend that those in authority hold all the power? The riddle is just an analogy. The 3 great men in the room are just representatives of the upper 1% of society who rule over the lives of the many. Who is the sellsword? The sellsword is us, the common people. For those in authority to keep power, what do they need to do? They need to empower themselves with knowledge, or they will deprive all of us from it. Because if they are to have power, and if the public is ignorant, they can get away with anything easily. But if we have knowledge, we will voice out our discontent. So, where is power? Power resides where men believe it resides. It's a trick, a shadow on the wall, and a very small man can cast a very large shadow. So, authority is not power. Knowledge is not power. So you have to empower yourselves. And I will let you in on a little secret. It's not really known by many. Is that knowledge is not power, but knowledge creates power, and power grants authority. Because if we are to allow these people with authority, if we are to give them power, and if they are to do great evil within the authority, within the scope of their authority, and if they do more harm than good to us, and if they do not represent the beliefs and values of our society, and yes, if we are to still allow them to remain in power, because if they have authority because we empower them, isn't it like us cutting off our noses to spite our faces? It's an English idiom, but to put it in a simpler way, a Malay idiom is that senjata makan tuan. Because if we give power to these people who do not represent us, why? Why should we? Because the power to choose who is in the upper 1% level, who holds authority, is us. Because we are the power. Power is us, the common people. Thank you.